So you clicked on this video to get a better understanding of how to take notes. And while I honestly might not be able to give you 100% what you're looking for because taking notes is different for everyone, I think by what I have in this video, you should be able to take better notes that are gonna help you with retention in the long term. Hi, my name is Wiley. I work for Athena AI, a company whose sole purpose is to help you with everything college related. And in today's video, I'm gonna be giving you guys a few tips and tricks on how to take the best notes you possibly can. Right off the bat, I just want to say that I'm using a Google Doc, but you can use both a notebook or a Google Doc. It works either way. It's pretty interchangeable. It's just what your preference is. There are a lot of studies saying that handwriting things is gonna help you more with retention, but honestly, just whichever way works better for you is totally fine. There's not just like one set way that's better than the other. All right, jumping right into it. As soon as you enter that lecture hall with your blank piece of paper, you're gonna wanna be looking for the overarching subject or the title of the lecture, right? And for me, I'm just gonna use an example from my criminology class I took the other week, schools of criminology, right? It's pretty broad, like a very lecturable topic. And so that's what I'm gonna be putting at the top of my paper, along with the date. And this is gonna sound a little weird, but you also wanna put a page number. And you don't have to do that if you're online, like Google Docs or Microsoft Word or something, because it'll number the pages for you. But if you're on a notebook, and I do this too on my notebooks, you should number the pages, because especially if it's a note-heavy class, it's gonna make it a lot easier to go back and look for those pages during test review, during quiz review, or even if you just need to look back at something to answer a question, something like that. It just makes it so much more easy to navigate. So it's just one of those things where you're like, okay, well, it doesn't take me that long, so I might as well, right? Next up is to note all of the important things that the lecturer is saying. And I'm not saying write everything down from the slide or everything that the lecturer is saying in their presentation. What I mean is that you're looking for things that the professor or teacher is repeating. You're looking for things that they're pointing at, that they're emphasizing with their words or like their tone of voice or something. And those are the things that you're gonna want to jot down on your paper. So for instance, schools of criminology, obviously I'm gonna write down classical school, right? Because that's one of the schools. So I'm just gonna write it probably in a smaller font, and then underneath your subject line, you're gonna wanna have bullet points, maybe that dash thing that I did. I guess that's a bullet point. I don't really know what the difference is. It's just easier to type, I guess. But you're gonna wanna be having those kind of shorter sentences, because if you're trying to write out all of these long sentences, you're gonna run out of time, you're gonna miss things, you're not gonna have a lot of notes, you're gonna be kind of all over the place because you're gonna be trying to write it down as fast as you can to move to the next one, and it's just not gonna be the most efficient thing. So instead, you're gonna wanna look for bullet points and shorter sentences that are gonna have maybe some abbreviations in there, just so that you can follow along and still get all that information down as quickly as possible. And the next thing here on notes would be to use any type of organization you can, whether that's highlighting something, underlining it, maybe you surround like the entire subject in a different color, like you use boxes, circles, something to differentiate each of the different slides within that presentation or lecture. And this is gonna help you both have it more organized on paper, but also if you do this while the lecture is happening, then you have it more organized in your mind too. For instance, let's say I wanted to also learn about a different school, which I definitely remember the name of right now. This one's cool. And let's say this one up here is not as cool, right? If I have these two subjects of notes and I want to color coordinate them, that's usually what I do. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to highlight this, I don't know, like blue, and then I'm going to highlight this one like red. Now it's easier for me to visually differentiate these two things, but also in my mind I've gone, okay, different schools red, classical schools blue, and now I'm gonna remember the notes that I take down underneath of them a little bit better, a little bit easier. For organization, you could also use arrows, those like cloud things that go around notes. Like I said, you could underline, you could bold words, you could position it so it's like columns or rows, whatever you want to do that's going to make it easier for you to understand when you're looking back on it and reviewing for a test or a quiz is definitely what you should be doing and taking priority in while you're taking notes. Now that you've gotten the gist down for taking notes, because really all it is just having it organized in a way that you're going to be able to remember it, now it's time to make sure that you don't fall asleep during class taking notes. And while taking notes does help you stay awake in class, and it's one of the reasons why people actually take notes, one of the things you can do is trying to tie a why into all of the notes you take. Like, why is this note that I'm taking actually important to me? And that's just going to help you both stay awake and attentive, but also later on when you're looking back for a test review, you're going to go, okay, I took this note because it's important for this reason and I should know for the test because of this, or something like that, right? You can also put away any distractions you might have, like a phone or laptop. And I know I sound like a high school teacher when I say this, but I mean, it's true. You know it, I know it. Like even in high school when they were like, put your phones away, and I was frustrated, like I knew that it was probably gonna help me focus anyways. So, I mean, it doesn't need to happen, but if you just wanna suck it up and like put away distractions, whether it's phone, laptop, friend. Where would you put away your friend? Don't know why I said that. But yeah, just try to limit the distractions around as much as you can. And I understand that's like impossible in a classroom, especially if you're sitting next to a friend, but just having the space around you to lock in on your notes is really what's important here. Lastly, if you have any questions about the class, you can of course raise your hand and ask the teacher, but if you are not one to speak up in front of a whole bunch of people in your class, you can just jot them down on your paper afterward, maybe ask some friends or family who have taken the class before, maybe you can email the professor afterward or your TA or something, and that way you can have your questions answered just like that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, please let me know down below and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.